This is perfect for the New York Yankees as a new trade target has been revealed for the team, and we have to talk about this. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Yankees Digest. It's Chris here. We're going to jump right into the video as we always do because the New York Yankees, as we all know, have struggled mightily with hitting throughout the season, especially very recently, especially when it comes to the infield. And now there is a new target for them as Rays first baseman Yandy Diaz has become a potential target for the New York Yankees, according to John Morosi. And here's what he had to say, is the teams are frequent trading partners and could advance in the next coming days. Tampa Bay will listen on Arozarena, Yandy Diaz, or Isaac Paredes in the right deal. Now, this is talking specifically about the Tampa Bay Rays and the Seattle Mariners and how they've made multiple trades in the past, because the Mariners are looking to be buyers of the deadline, but so are the New York Yankees. They need hitters, and it's become apparent that the Yankees do have interest in Yandy Diaz, and I love this idea. Now, look, I understand Yandy Diaz has kind of been underwhelming this season when being an all-star last year, winning Silver Slugger at the first base position. I get it. Yandy Diaz, after last year, he has not capitalized on this year. But just as a whole, the Tampa Bay Rays have not been good. We know they're going to sell at the deadline. The Rays don't like to spend a lot of money as it is, and usually it works out for them well. When you have someone like Curtis Mead who can come up and play the same position or just kind of come up and be a different, younger option who's going to be a lot more cost-effective for a lot longer of a time than Diaz, then it's something that you have to look at and decide, okay, we should trade Yandy Diaz while he still has value from last season, because everything that could go wrong for the Tampa Bay Rays this year has gone wrong. Nothing has really worked out, and it sucks saying that today after the Yankees lost to the Rays, but that's because the Rays, well, it's not really about the Rays at all. It's about the fact the Yankees don't hit the ball. This has been my entire rhetoric since I've started doing Yankees Digest, is the biggest problem here is that the team can't get hits in the infield. They have no true leadoff batter. Look, I love Ben Rice. Can he be a leadoff batter? Kind of, but this is a contender. This is a contending team that wants to win the MLB World Series. That's kind of redundant. But they want to win the World Series. They need more contact hitting to do so. Yandy Diaz, obviously a phenomenal hitter, very good power hitter, as we know. But this year has not been his best season when he's been in the MLB. And I genuinely think a lot of that is baseball is such a sport. It's so mental. It's more mental than any other of the professional sports, the four major Americans. Baseball is by far the most mental sport. And when stuff like that happens, when your team starts performing poorly, then yeah, it could get in your head thinking, I need to perform. I need to get a hit. I need to get a good game going so I can try to help this team turn around. It needs to start with me, especially if you're Diaz, knowing you're one of the best players on the team. So it is something that he's definitely aware of. And let's just take a look, because this does continue. When you look at Yandy Diaz's season, it has been underwhelming. For the first time in a while, he has an OPS under 750, and that's obviously not a great sign when you're looking for someone who can hit the ball. And, I mean, the numbers, they don't look great. Don't get me wrong. Like, they're not terrible, but they're just not great. They're not what you want out of Yandy Diaz. He's someone who's better than these numbers. Only 8 home runs on the year, batting in only 46 RBIs. Again, that was redundant. Excuse me, I'm a little sick right now. I mean, he could work more walks. Look, Yandy Diaz, his current slugging percentage is under 400, which you don't love after that Silver Slugger season last year. But he does give you more stability in the infield. And in the process, something else that I like about this deal is the fact that if you get Yandy Diaz, he could take over at first base, which means you could move Ben Rice back to his more natural position, which is the catcher spot. I like the idea of Ben Rice being one of the future catchers for the Yankees along with Austin Wells. I think that is where you go at this point. Austin Wells, over the last week or so, man has been raking it in. He's really getting it going. Is he going to keep it up to this degree? Probably not, but is he going to keep it up? Hopefully. Hopefully we'll see Austin Wells kind of revitalize that hitting. When Wells was coming up, we knew the whole thing was, okay, well, we know the man can hit. Is he going to be good enough at being a catcher to have this work out? The answer is yes when it comes to his catching ability. It's been a pleasant surprise, but the hitting is not where you want it to be. Now, if Wells can get it going, if Ben Rice can get it going, and also kind of play first base at times, I mean, Diaz, you can stick him at third on occasion, and the Yankees have a ton of third base problems also when you're looking at your third baseman being DJ LeMahieu or Oswaldo Cabrera, neither of whom have been great. And, I mean, DJ looks washed up. I think it's just at that point where he's had so many injuries. He was once the best player on the Yankees, arguably. In 2019, I'd say he was the best player on the team. But it's not the case anymore. He's now obviously far from that. He's basically unplayable as a whole. The Yankees still have a ton of money going towards him, but there's no reason to actually continue playing DJ LeMahieu. I think you just, if you are to acquire Yandy Diaz, he is someone who can play third base. It helps your third base situation. Obviously, it doesn't solve the problem, as Diaz is a first baseman, but it does give a bit more stability at another position in need. Because right now, when you look at the Yankees infield, yeah, Volpe's only going to improve, and that's great. And especially when you have a few different shortstops in the farm system, specifically George Lombard Jr., you consider this and think, okay, well, we're fine at shortstop. First baseman with Ben Rice, we're good, but again, are we just moving him out of the catcher spot? Eventually, that's going to be Aaron Judge's position, probably sooner rather than later, most likely so. Aaron Judge is going to become a first baseman outside of being an outfielder, just because as age goes, you want to keep that bat alive as long as possible, and moving him to first base will help do so. Now, on top of all that, Diaz is a good bridge. He's just a solid bridge. It lets Rice play more catcher so he can get acclimated into doing that. Rice can still play first base sometimes. Diaz can sometimes step in at third. It just gives you more depth for a team entirely. Now, I assume they'd give some mid-ish prospect. Diaz is, his price, I know the Rays are holding him at a high price, and it's kind of surprising, I guess, to hear that they'd be trading him outside of the fact that they've been terrible this year. But when you look at what's going on, I feel like the Yankees could get a bargain because of the way that Diaz has not been able to recapture that magic that he had last season hitting the ball. And that means the Yankees can kind of buy low on Diaz and hope it works out. Now, they need to be buyers at the deadline, as we all know, and it comes more than just Yandy Diaz. It comes with the potential of them making a trade and bringing back Jameson Taillon, which apparently could be a thing now, and we'll do a video on that also. But there's also just getting that hitting going. Yandy Diaz could very well help, but that the problem is last year if they acquired him, it's like, oh my God, that we're set. Like, that's a huge addition. But this is not last year's Yandy Diaz as of yet. I think the change of scenery could help him out a ton. Playing on a winning team could help him out a ton also. The Yankees are both those things. I know they've struggled, but they're still a winning team. As you just saw right there, the Rays are 34-38. They're below 500. Their playoff hopes are dead. They're going to make deals at the deadline. But there's also one more thing interesting about this whole Yandy Diaz thing that we just have to mention. And that is the fact that Diaz was put on, well, this is kind of interesting when you look at it. Because now he's just not playing for the Rays. As mentioned here by ESPN, he missed Friday's 6-1 loss to the Yankees. It was their first game after the All-Star break, and Kevin Cash said the move to just kind of take him off the roster entirely for right now was made because of family reasons that did not qualify under the bereavement family medical emergency list. Cash said the move was non-disciplinary. Now he's one of two people kind of in that zone, along with Wander Franco, who obviously they not like us, and that's all I'll say on that. But it's kind of strange. I assume it's just some family matter, and then he'll be back before you know it. And that's great and all, but it also, now you're not paying him salary. The Rays like to save money. If you guys are basketball fans, you could do that Brian Windhorst meme thing. It's interesting. I think the Rays are going to look to move him sooner rather than later. It would make sense. I'm very curious to see what happens with this. We're obviously going to break the story instantly, so you guys want to make sure you're subscribed, like this video, turn on post notifications. Make sure you guys do that. But also, I mean, imagine Yandy Diaz can get it back going, what he had last year. I think that's likely when you consider where they're at as a team, where the Yankees are at as a team, like where they as the Rays, and where he is at as a player. I think playing on a team that has a chance to win the World Series is going to benefit him and help him get back into the zone. I mean, it's such a mental thing with him. It feels like that's what's going on. It's just everything is going poorly for the Rays, including Diaz's hitting. A change of scenery could benefit him massively, and it also allows Ben Rice to kind of play catcher a bit more, and then you just get another great hitter. I mean, as you can see right here, Ben Rice, solid player. He's playing really well for the Yankees right now. And hopefully he can keep that going. I imagine he will, at least to some degree, which we love to see. But we're going to need more than what the Yankees have. Their infield needs to get better. And I think getting Yandy Diaz is a step in the right direction. But I do want to know what you guys think. So let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, turn on post notifications, subscribe. I already said all this. Have a great day, guys, and go Yankees.